lies,
opinion,
truth,
and substance. Only thing that can make sure we are real and real them skills to be armed.
right. My real son, he tortured some folks. Hi, I'm Johnny Q. This is L.O.T.S. Lies, Opinions, Truth, and Substance. And I'm here today. Usually I know y'all used to my co-host, but she's having something to deal with the family. Y'all send your prayers out. So today I'll be doing the show by myself here. And if it's any other people out there would like to chime in on the subjects that be about today, you can call in at 470-251-4707. 470-251-4707. Hope all y'all out there doing well. Want to send a shout out to the APD, and the reason saying is that was an incident the other day. You know, it was a shooting. I do believe the officer lived. Didn't get a chance to get as much story on it as I wanted to, but definitely just want to still say thank y'all. Keep doing your thing, and hope a lot of y'all actually have to learn from this again. You know, it's wild, wild west out here, but we gonna get through it. Just like we got through the pandemic, we gonna make some better choices, and that's what this show is here for, to help you sharpen up your skills. So today, today I saw a clip of a video of a of a young kid, and she was explaining to the parents about how it was a certain spelling word and she couldn't get it correct. But the thing is how she went about explaining the situation to the parents, which most of us saw it on social media through Instagram, or some may have saw it on other social media platforms. But I really want y'all to take a look at this. And some people saw it as funny. A lot of people, they didn't find it so funny. So tell me what you think. But here's a clip of it, and that way you can judge from yourself.
Spelling bee, and this bitch took me out the second round because I ain't know how to spell juice. Like, bitch, I'm 6 years old. Does it look like I know how to spell juice? Spelling bee, and this bitch took me out the second round because I ain't know how to spell juice. Like, bitch, I'm 6 years old. Does it look like I know how to spell juice?
So that's the 6-year-old. She was explaining to her parents that she was 6, and she wanted to tell the teacher, who she called a bitch, I'm 6. Why should I know how to spell that? In the comments, you know, through Instagram, which I was looking at, where I was looking at this clip at, you know, it astonished some folk, and it should have, but it did show her parents getting up, which a lot of us perceive like dad had a no talking policy. You know, he was going into dad mode, and I don't think he was going in for a friendly chat, you know, which he shouldn't have been. People that hear me on this talk show, they know that I believe in training a child on which way it should go. You know, certain things, everything don't cause for a butt whipping. You know, how most of us came up through the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and some parts of the 80s. And those who continue to carry those traditions, we learn that everything is not called for a butt whipping. But it's a lot of things that's cause for that ass whooping. This is one of them. You know, seriously. You know, if you can cuss, and we may cuss in the household, but I'm pretty sure they done set the guideline on who can do this and who can't. So what made the little girl think she could do that? I don't know. But I am glad to see that her father was ready to go straight into action. You know, zero talks. Now, that still is a disappointment because the mother looked shocked. You know, if anything, you know, and I know had a newborn baby in her hand, you know, I'm thinking, you know, mom believe, hey, you know, most moms where I come from, you know, they would even got mad and almost threw the baby. But to her, you know, it was more hysterical, like, wow, I can't believe it. No, I believe it. Because I also saw a post, and this is what made me want to show this clip of that. Because I saw a post, you know, back when $1 Million Game, Wallow was showing, hey, you know, it's the cell phone raising the household now. And the little girl knew, I believe she was being recorded. And people need to understand this. In this day and age, we got to go back to the round table, to the beginning of the tradition which stabilized the households. And that's a no phone policy. You know, I believe you have from a newborn, which we know most newborns ain't using no phones, all right? But I'm just using this terminology. 0 to 14, maybe 15, at 9 o'clock, ain't no more cell phones. The only way it's a cell phone, that means you at some type of practice or some type of event dealing with school. There are no more telephones at the dinner table, no exception. You got that type of job that commands that, then only your household needs to know that. And still, you have to make sure that that call that's coming is absolutely as an emergency of your job. We got to get back to the basics, people. Which bring us to this next clip. This incident was at school as well, right, Joe? Well, this incident was at school, right? Yeah. Here we are. Here's a kid really trying to look out for everybody, looking out for everybody in the wrong way. But we've all been, most of us has been a witness to this before social media. This has been shown on social media. Most of us have actually been a part of this, what we're about to see. The thing here is that you're about to see how most kids don't learn, which we knew back then, who you could do this around and who you couldn't. And this is what I find just a little hysterical. But not only that, I'm curious if this was helping the one, what we're about to see, if this is helping the one who you're about to see during the recording, the thing is, what are you doing? You know, now I'm not saying kids, you know, if you, especially for those who are allowing their kids to look at this show right here, you know, which I only ask that it's a teenager with common sense, if y'all allow them to look at this show. What are you thinking as a child who is doing this, which you know your ass is in trouble by any school district? And also, before we get into it, if you want to call up here and give your opinion, you can call at 470-251-4707. So, Joe, let's go into this clip.
What's that right now? Wait, that's his. What is that supposed to be? Oh, why you Brandon?
Let me find out. Watch him walking. Trey, put it up. Trey, put it up.
Anthony.
Trey, put it up.
Anthony.
This man wilding, bro.
Wait, shut up. Wait. I know you are not.
Anthony.
We ain't posting it. It's for we ain't posting it.
Yeah, Anthony, I want to tell you, you've been posted. You know, seriously. Now, it would have been different if Anthony was up there only because he actually knew what to go to change his own grade. You know, maybe that's why you got posted. But that wasn't the case. He was changing everybody's grade to a decent grade. And he still got posted. Now, what most kids also don't understand who even posted it, you know, a real teacher gonna flunk everybody in the classroom. One, because one of y'all was stupid enough to post it. Two, he changed everybody grade. So which means everybody go down with the ship. And honestly, that is the way it's supposed to go. Because none of you said once the teacher came in, you know, now this is just speculation on my part. Because, you know, we don't see any more of the clip, that none of y'all spoke up. You know, but Anthony has to learn to be wiser. You know, hopefully this is a learning experience for him. And what I mean by that, you know, be aware of your surroundings. You gonna commit a crime, you commit it for you. You know, until you know you got some solid people around you. You know, I knew that as a criminal. You know, seriously. You know, the people I come up with, they were solid. That's just how I go. You know, you see this from the White House to the outhouse. You got to have somebody solid around you if this is what you're going to do. Anthony, you committed a school criminal offense. It is a government offense because you went on a teacher's laptop and you changed grades. You know, I know you probably meant well, probably because all of y'all was flunking the class. I don't know. Maybe you did it for laughs. But also I do know, if I'm your parent, I got to give you a harsh talking to. It does seem like they were pretty much high school kids, maybe 10th graders, maybe 11th graders at the most. But this is one of these mistakes, you know, that Mr. Anthony gonna have to learn. You can't make this going down the road. You know, you're gonna commit this type of act. You got to be damn sure that you the only one that know it. Because right there, you had multiple cell phones on you. You got people whispering, they not gonna post it, and you got posted. So, you know, these are some other things that parents need to be aware of. You know, I know it happened in my school day, you know, to where, you know, and we changed it the hard way. You know, people changed it by paper. You know, right here, this is technology. You know, it's just a click of a button. But at the same time, we didn't tell because we needed that passing grade. For those who were involved in that type of act, yes, I've did that. Now, did I personally go change the grade? No. But did someone help me change the grade? Yes. Have I ever cheated off somebody else's paper for a certain class? Yeah, I did that. Of course. But I also was around solid people, and we know when we could do it and when we shouldn't do it. Man, you ain't aware of nothing. I mean, you just went full-fledged. You trusted the whole room. And if you knew better, which I'm pretty sure you knew better, you know, your parents got to discipline you here. And you got to accept this discipline. Because it was so many failures all around. The main one, you weren't doing what you were supposed to do in school. You know, we can just start there. Even when you did a piss poor job at doing what you did in the classroom. You know, so these are just things to go about with your children at home. You know, one kid did it, but the other ones were participants. And so parents, for those kids who didn't have the heart to go do what young Anthony did, but I want you to understand what you also seeing in that atmosphere. You seeing okays. See, you seeing okays. Just because they had out the cell phone and they like, hey, we ain't gonna tell those who thought it was cute. You never heard one kid say, hey, man, boy, bad as I need it, bro. Don't do it. See, that's letting you know your child said okay. You got to go have a talk with that child. May not be the things you want to hear, but you're hearing it from a person who has been rehabilitated from criminal activity. And I'm telling you, that's what you see for those kids who didn't have the heart to push the envelope like Anthony did. It's a bunch of okays because you never heard one child speak up. You know, it's just like when the police force take a life, an innocent life, and don't none of the others of the brotherhood speak up about how this guy was in the wrong, who is the officer. This is one of those same manners. You got students who is the peer of the other student, and not one spoke up to tell him, hey man, you know, as bad as we need the grade, but no, bro, don't do it. One, because you'll get in trouble. Two, we'll all get in trouble. Three, you'll make me have to tell it. So that's why I use that analogy. And right there, I need the parents to understand you never heard one child come to that part of being a mature teenager. Everybody basically okayed it and thought it was cute, funny, but was willing to accept that grade. If this never had been posted, your child would have accepted that A or that B. Your child would have did it, or that passing grade. Because you did not hear not one child speak up. So I just want to give y'all that to put on your brains. You know, not just look at Anthony as the bad guy, but the whole classroom of the girls and boys are wrong. So, you know, take that with you. And, you know, we're going on to the next subject. This next subject, you know, I'm going to let y'all see the video, and then we're going to take it from there, you know, and y'all can give your thoughts on it as I get ready to issue out the statements. But I want y'all to see the video first.
Police search for it! Police search for it! Police search for it! Hands! Get on the ground! Hands! Get on the ground!
As there's a gun emerging in your direction, you're forced to make a split-second decision about when it's a threat.
Chief Huffman, no, hold on. Chief Huffman, no, do not. Okay, I'm not a threat. I don't have a gun. Okay, don't treat me like I'm a threat. This is what I would call the anatomy of a cover-up.
Yep. Right here we have a situation with the 22-year-old Amir Laki. The police department of Minneapolis, Minnesota, had a no-knock warrant. They were looking for an alleged shooter. The alleged shooter was supposedly be at the address that the police went in on. Joe, do we actually have a full clip as well of the shooting of Amir Laki, like when they actually come in the door firing? I didn't send that one? All right. If you get a chance while you back there to look it up, see if it's online. All right. But what you also saw right there was one of the activists for the Laki family, and condolences to them as well. Once you see the shooting, for those who haven't saw it, you understand why she stood up to the intern chief like that. Because the subject that they was looking for That's not who they shot. They shot I don't know if he was the relative or the friend of the subject. And when you see the way they came in the door off the no-knock warrant, I want to stop right there for a second, because I don't think a lot of civilians really understand a no-knock warrant. This brings back to the Katherine Johnson incident that I never really want people to let go. Now, we can forgive and move on, but the decision making of the officers who lied to get the no-knock warrant, which was the wrong address, and I'm speaking of Katherine Johnson. I'm going there, then I'm going to come back to the L.O.T.S situation. You get the wrong address, one, on the no-knock warrant, supposedly. You enter Katherine Johnson's home aggressively. The old lady does have a 38 at the age of, I think, 90, 91? And she's supposed to grab it. First of all, she's 90, 91. Who the hell would be kicking down her door besides a criminal? The people from the judge, because this starting with the judges. Any judge that signs a no-knock warrant in 2022 going forward, you're an idiot. The only way, and I do believe there's the only way you sign a no-knock warrant, that means somebody has went and did surveillance, and this is the correct place, and the assailant that y'all looking for, or individuals that y'all looking for, are at that address. So, with that being said, you telling me as a judge in 2022, you ain't learned nothing. And so right now we're getting ready to show you the clip, people. And y'all can give us y'all opinion or y'all truth or even a lie.
Today imposed a moratorium on no-knock warrants after police executing one of those warrants shot and killed a 22-year-old man they say was armed. Police video just released and a warning it is disturbing. Here's Miguel Almaguer.
In under 10 seconds, a Minneapolis SWAT team quietly unlocks an apartment door, storms inside with a no-knock warrant, kicking a couch where a man lying under a blanket with a gun is quickly shot and killed. During the chaos, it's unclear if 22-year-old Amir Locke, who was not named on the search warrant and appears to have no criminal history, was ever aware it was police who were storming into the apartment before 7 a.m. Wednesday.
These events happen very rapidly, and as there's a gun emerging in your direction, you're forced to make a split-second decision about when it's a threat.
With at least 3 shots fired by police, who also released this screen grab showing a gun, Locke's family compares the no-knock warrant to the botched Kentucky police raid that left Breonna Taylor dead. And this from the same police department still under scrutiny for George Floyd's murder.
He was executed by the MPD, and I want the police officer that murdered my son to be prosecuted and fired.
Though authorities promise a transparent investigation, community activists who work with police and were at their press conference fear that will never come.
This is what I would call the anatomy of a cover-up. This is unacceptable.
Tonight, another death on video at the hands of police. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
The video, disturbing to most, it should be. I want to let y'all know I'm not one of the people just to, maybe in my younger years, in my early teens and 20s, of course, it was F the police, because I was still immature. I was learning. I was very young, and I was very naive. And like I said, I was just very immature. As I've grown, I understand that they have a job to do just like the criminals. Okay? But here is not one of those situations. Because also what they didn't tell you, that was a legal firearm Mr. Locke had. It was his. And like I said, I don't know if that's the residence of the guy they was looking for, or if it was somebody else's residence and they just knew the guy they was looking for was there. But what I also found out during this story, before the shooting, if I'm not mistaken, if I got this correctly, the assailant they was looking for actually turned himself in. But I'm going back to the no-knock warrant. You know, I want to spend some real time on this because I just really believe, I know civilians really don't understand. This is the same tactic, a no-knock warrant, is what military, those who are in the military, when we're at war with another country, they invade people's homes. People who just so happen to live in the country, but isn't with either side. Seriously. And yet they get intel like we have seen. We could bring up the situation with Desert Storm. No, Saudi Arabia. When what's his name? Not Bin Laden. The one before Bin Laden, Joe. Yeah. Yes. Saddam Hussein. It was reported that multiple times the military would have the wrong intel and invade other people's home, and it costs other people their lives. This is what you're doing on American soil. You go into somebody's home without the full correct, notice what I'm saying, full correct intel. If you had the correct intel, one, the shooter, and I'm back to Lockheed, one, if you had the correct full intel before a no-knock warrant, one, you'll know that the assailant was there. That's number one. Two, you'll know everybody who's positioned in that house. This is not a goddamn war, but you're making it a war. Everybody who went on that raid without correct full intel, including the chief or intern chief who signed off with the judge to give this no-knock warrant, and whoever else signed on this document, every last one of you need to be in jail and fired. People may be at home looking at this, going crazy. Oh, why is that? Because you ain't learned nothing. In February of 2022 of this same issue that's been going on for decades before 2022. If I can evolve, and you just heard me sit up here and say, when I was young, I thought very, very stupidly on real issues. Now here it is, you supposed to have sense as well as a higher education than me, and even you probably would say have more wisdom than me. We find out on L.O.T.S show right here. If you said that, if we had that conversation face to face, whether it was with the judge, the police, the intern chief, whoever, police officer, we will find out you will be a liar. Proof is in the pudding. You sit here, you invade a home without the correct and full intel. perpetrator was not there. You end up killing an innocent victim with a legal firearm who was asleep. What do you think people going to do when they wake up out of their sleep to noise? You're trying to gather your senses together. Everybody done woke up hysterical once before. People grab the nearest thing. You can hear something fall in the house that was sitting on the edge. You forgot to move it off the edge. It just so happened something vibrate from outside, maybe rain, thunder, however it go, just something, and it breaks. You jump up hysterical once your body hears it, and you always grab the first thing that's to you. Why? For protection. If it's wrong to sleep with a firearm that you purchased with your own money and it's legit, then over 60% of this world is guilty. So now you saying I got to sleep with caution even though I got a license for this weapon, and I should have this in a lockbox instead of when I've been taught on American soil to have this weapon within reaching distance, because somebody may commit a crime. I may be, or it may be a relative to me, a friend of me, or an associate of me, and I don't know whether it committed the crime or not, but I got to be aware, and I got to sleep lightly, and I got to sleep with hesitation, because that's what you promote. That's basically what the interim chief got up there and said. You basically made it seem like it was Mr. Locke's fault. Like he was in the wrong. And this not even the subject y'all was looking for. Do you know how crazy you sound? See, y'all ain't the only one who can make something seem like sense. I'm actually going to come with real common sense. I can break down every part of the subject, however you want to go about it. It was wrong. It was wrong from the beginning when whoever signed the no-knock warrant. It was already wrong. And if I'm going to go out here on the limb and say this for the judge and whoever else, the chief, whoever else signed this paperwork, I'm going to go out on the limb. Let's say they brought you back everything that was required to get this no-knock warrant that y'all asked for. That it's the policy of the police department. And let's just say all those things I named, the intel, the surveillance, all that, and they knew how many people were in the home, and those things happen to be not true that y'all signed off on, then it's time for y'all to start doing your job. It's time for y'all to really start doing your job. Start doing your job. Go into these departments, locking these folks' ass up, and getting the results the same way you was looking to do that criminal, that suspected criminal who y'all thought was there. I mean, this is easy. You know, this shit ain't rocket science. You know, this ain't the equation, you know, all of a sudden you got to do -2 = 3, A, B, 4, multiply by 10 equivalent through A. You know, that ain't what this is. Which brings me to this point. That's why history is so important, people. You have to know, how did the police force even come about? That's what's going to help you understand this mentality that the intern chief in Minneapolis would get up there and blame the person who was asleep up under the cover with a legal firearm. So you got to know the history that was made here on American soil of the police force by my white brothers and sisters, the forefathers before them who still carry that bullshit ass tradition here today. And yet, y'all want those who are like me to be quiet and not check you on the recklessness that you still carry out today through this department that support your poor actions. And yet your comrades, who are all different colors, who still are 30, young 20s, 40, 50, 60, some 70, hell, some in the world on these departments may even be 80. And yet, you'll say bleed blue. You cut yourself right now, you ain't bleeding no blue, idiot. That's a lie. You already telling yourself. It's the same lie as whatever flag holding the color and say this would they bleed. It's a lie. Every person cut themselves, you only bleed in one color. Now you can say you represent the blue. But see, I'm letting you know how you already done started tricking your mind. See, the criminals I grew up around, one thing I got to admit with them, they were realistic. Some were realistic. If I'm going to commit this crime, we're going to commit this crime. Ain't no certain color involved. Ain't no ritual. We knew what the hell we were doing. I knew what I was doing. I'm not trying to make something. I'm not going to be naive to something to give me a way out. At that time, I commit crime. That's what I'm going to do. I don't need no fake ass ritual. I'm committing crime to get paid. I'm not going to make up this false ass intel once I do something and my hand get caught in the damn cookie jar. And this is a myth that people are still being attached to in the uniform. You ain't learned nothing from your forefathers. Y'all are still carrying bullcrap behavior. And it's getting sickening. I don't care if you're black, white, a Jew, a Palestinian, whatever the hell you want to name yourself. Any one of y'all, Asian, African, German, hey, whatever you want to label yourself. Everybody cut theyself. Everybody. Out of every group you name, you're going to bleed one color. You ain't going to bleed a German blood. You ain't going to bleed an African blood. You're going to bleed blood. See, a lot of people talk about keeping it real. I can go all the way for real. See, I've been there, done that. This is fake ass shit. This is the reason why this boy lost his life. He ain't lost his life because he had a legal firearm, sleep on the couch. Yes, I can agree. As what they say, he was where the assailant may have lived, which they hadn't said that. At least I haven't got that news. And let's just say the assailant did live there. Let's just say that. It don't start there. Because I don't know if it's his relative or not. And let's just say he knew. Let's just say, you know what? I want to give y'all all of that. Let's just say he knew what his relative had done. Or his friend. And he knew the situation. Let's just say he knew that. No, you're right. He didn't have to be there. But it's also his right to be there. How many of y'all are in relation of someone who committed a crime, but yet you still there? You don't stop talking to that person. You don't stop just hanging out with that person. Now you may learn to separate yourself because it may continue in the bullshit. These are young men. You ain't saw nobody separated themselves from Donald Trump because he grabbed him by the pussy. You ain't noticed many people separated themselves because George Bush back then signed certain bills and blew up the wrong damn buildings. You know, are the certain generals who said this is the true intel and they bombed the wrong buildings during that time of war. You have not seen where real police executioners and family members who are with them separated from them because they knew that was a lie at whatever that incident was that was committed. You could take the Emmett Till situation. How many white family members really separated from that white lady after she told the truth that was all a lie? See how simple I can help break this down for you in America, you in the world? See, get off your high horse. Come on down here. Because while you call yourself looking over and you so woke and you really understand this, that was just a simple example. You don't understand shit. From the beginning of whoever signed this warrant, it was incorrect. This is not Baghdad. This shouldn't be a Baghdad, a Saudi Arabia, a Vietnam moment. All of it is wrong. See, that's the point I'm getting to. All of it is wrong. White men, white women, brothers and sisters of all colors, whatever race you want to be named, y'all better get out that thought mentality. You got to pay. You can live till you're 80 or 90. You can live till you're 100, 200 years old. Don't come out that mentality, and I'm telling you, you're going to have to pay for it. Hopefully y'all really learned something. If not, hey, it's on you. If you want to call in, you can call in at 470-251-4707. Which brings us to the next clip. You know, here we are with Victoria's Secret. And I want to know, is this treason to men? Joe, bring up the clip so we can show the men out here what's happening in this world. You know, that's a transgender model. Spain, you know, that works with Victoria's Secret, is now modeling the clothes. Joe, do we have some more pictures of Mr. Spain? That's the only one. Well, you know, they have multiple pictures. You know, whenever you get time, Joe, you know, I just wanted to show them at least 3 or 4 different. Yeah. Thank you. This is some of the pictures of Mr. Spain, you know, Victoria's Secret model, transgender. And Victoria's Secret is saying this is who modeling their clothes. You know, I want to say one, no, I'm not homophobic. Those who really know me, you know, I don't care. But I know Victoria's Secret for women's wear with women, not something that's portraying as a woman. And that's why I say, do males find this as a treason? You're overthrowing a system that's known for a woman to be in this attire and men to recognize this for his woman or the lady that he dates to put on this attire. And now you're going to have a male that's supposedly be a woman to dress up in this attire. That's a lot. Now, I don't mind if he want to be a transgender. That's his personal choice. But it's also my personal choice to make sure every woman that I know, see, or even the woman that I deal with in my future, never ever wear anything of Victoria's Secret. That's no pink, no nothing. And I honestly mean that. I got to stand for something. This is not me being a trans basher or nothing or none of that, but I grew up knowing that women dress in this attire. And I don't want to look at something that's supposed to be a woman. I want to look at something that is a woman. So, for those who still want to endorse that and look at that, hey, that's on you. You know, so well be it. But I'm just letting the world know where I stand. And for those who ain't afraid to stand up, I advise you do that. And others, hey, you know, let your chips fall where it may. Which brings us up to a young lady that we also grew up. This next subject, you know, Miss Tisha Campbell Martin, Miss Tisha Martin. She got in an incident down in Texas, Brownsville, Texas. And man, you know, this is something, you know, but I'm going to let y'all hear her own words and I'll let y'all know, you know, the rest of my thoughts on it.
Don't freak out, but I think I almost got snatched up. So they don't have Ubers where I'm filming, and I had to call a taxi. So I get this number, but the truck that the van that pulls up is real sketchy looking. But there's a guy in the back seat, right? So when he jumps out, the guy is just standing there. I thought he was getting dropped off, but he's just standing there. And he goes, "Get in," and I go, "What?" He goes, "Get in," and I go, "No." And then I look at the car, look inside the car. The rubber is pulled up from the bottom. There's dirt everywhere. The back seat looked like it's snatched out for a reason. And so the guy in the front seat, the driver goes, "Get in the car."
Well, thank God, Miss Martin. You know, thank God Tisha Martin really was thinking. You know, I did a little research about Brownsville, Texas, you know, to see their crime rate. And, you know, I'm going to read off a couple of things for y'all. You know, what is the kidnapping rate in Brownsville, Texas? Actually, you'll be surprised. From just last year, no, 2000, I was able to get the intel for 2019. But basically, 2018, they were only at a 12% rate of rape in Brownsville, Texas. 2019, it went up to 82%. That was a big hike from just 12%. Brownsville, Texas is 12th in the nation for safety. Hold on, no, it's 12th in the nation for being unsafe. 88% of its cities are safer than Brownsville. Brownsville is a community of 200 and they say a little bit over 205,000 people. It has a high crime in robberies, assault, burglaries, thefts, and auto thefts. That's its main crime areas. You know, robberies, assault, burglaries, thefts, and auto thefts. Also, they have a 30% every year starting from 2002. They have always been under 30% of manpower. There is a clip showing to where the officers of Brownsville said that Miss Martin was over exaggerating and that she was doing it for TV hype. Now I'm curious. For kidnapping in 2018, you were 12%. How do you take an 82% hike in just 2019? I wasn't able to get 2021, the year 2020 and 21. But I found that real, I mean, man, you know, that's astonishing. You take a 82% hike for kidnapping. That was your lowest year. How do you go to an 80% hike? Well, let's enlighten people. Rape also kidnapping also, which involves rape. You know, during most kidnapping, they say during most kidnappings of a female, usually 80% of the time, 70 to 80% of the time, that female is going to get raped in a kidnapping. So for a rape to take 80% hike just 3 years back, 2 years back per se, how is that? That also means that what we face now across the U.S. nation, which is kidnapping, and also which is known in a lot of states, trafficking, human trafficking. So all of this follows up under that umbrella. I'm starting to think maybe Miss Martin isn't exaggerating, because I'm looking at that hike. Who sends a van if she's able to give a description of that van? Now, like I say, it's still speculation. But what I can say for her defense, you're under manpower every year since 2000, 30%. So that means, depending on, Brownsville got 200,000+ people. You don't have the manpower to support every crime. All the manpower is being used in robberies, assault, burglaries, thefts, and auto thefts. So, do you have enough officers when there really is human trafficking, kidnapping, and rape going on? You already 30% under. I bring up this subject honestly because the public is making Miss Martin out of a lie. Now, I'm not saying she isn't lying, but I'm also saying that doesn't mean she ain't telling the truth either. Here it is, Brownsville, Texas, a place I never heard of, never even seen. Now, I look up these things because I wanted to give the police benefit of the doubt. America grade Brownsville City, America, who do go by, get the statistics, give every city in United States of America a grade for everything of what they can prevent from bringing a criminal, for being criminal activities going around in that city, and America gives a grade, and Brownsville has an F. So now you want me to actually take your word. Now, like I said, I know it's an ongoing investigation, but this is just something for the people to think about who hearing this story. See, again, we back to that lie. We back to that tradition of use. Now, we know it's been some women that cry wolf. We know that. We all heard about the little boy cried wolf. So we know. This is not one of Tisha Martin's track records, though. This ain't our track record. So why should I not believe what she's saying? If this was part of her MO, Brownsville Police Department, you would really have a leg to stand on. But right now with this information, you got an F grade for preventing crime by the United States of America. Your rape went up from 12%, just 2019, up 82%. And you want us to believe that this lady, who hasn't been in the media but for nothing but maybe a divorce, splits between her husband, and you want us to call her a liar. America, pay attention. Pay attention. Because if this is a fact, what Miss Martin is saying, now it's starting with her. But imagine those who can't get in front of a camera. Imagine those who don't have millions of followers. Imagine those who don't have people to hear their voice. You next. Well, it's been good tuning in with y'all. We'll definitely see y'all next week at 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Come on down. You're welcome to be a guest or anything. You're welcome to call in. This been Lies, Opinions, and Truth, and you will get substance. See you later, War. Lies,
opinion,
truth,
and substance on him because he had to make sure we were real and keep
yes.
still to be hogtied.
Right.